Alright. What's up, everybody? We are here with the EU Atlanta Regionals. That's right, DreamHack Masters EU Regionals, and it is the bloody grand finals. We have got Reynor, the man who has been unstoppable all tournament long in the bottom right side. And in this best of 7, he starts with a 1-0 advantage because he has defeated everybody he's faced so far in the tournament. He has not dropped a series in the final bracket, and so he has come from the upper bracket. His opponent dropping a series earlier on, coming through the loser's bracket from there, starts down a map, and so does have a very tall task in front of him. In the top left, it's Clem. Reynor has the most powerful, explosive Zerg versus Terran out there. Him versus Clem is one of the most mechanically exciting matches because they are both so quick. The Widow Mines retargeting, the Zerglings spreading and hold positioning and isolating Widow Mine shots. You've got Baneling run-bys, Ling run-bys, and all sorts of madness all over. I would say, though, starting here on Cosmic Sapphire is pretty big map. It's a big map. It's one where Reynor's going to be able to cover the mapping creep, and he is such a monster. If he can get that creep spread out far enough, he really explodes. He also plays a bit greedier than some of the other players. I think Reynor has shown massive weakness to 2-base pushes lately. Even when he really just doesn't scout very much. I'd say Reynor's biggest weakness is that he's so good, he feels confident beating Terran with no idea of what they're even doing in the game. And that is something which is awesome, that you're that good at StarCraft, but also it can get you in trouble. The problem that Clem will have with taking advantage of that is that Clem is a giant normie. Clem does not proxy racks very much. Clem likes to play fast third command center 90% of the time, and he very rarely commits to 2-base all-ins or even big 2-base attacks. Even something like a battlecruiser harassment is so rare for Clem to open with. Reaper's already getting a little bit of damage, not being able to kill anything though. Reynor very good at pulling the back. One Zergling though, nice focus fire. And the third hatchery goes down on location behind it. Can you believe it? Clem going for a third command center. No surprises there. When you've got the best mechanics out of all of the Terran players in the world in TVZ, just getting that third base up, giving yourself more tools to work with is what you are absolutely excited to see. And, damn man, Ling speed's on the way. We've got that third queen building in the main, interestingly, not on the natural. Reynor with that quick third hatchery. So does he go for a second tumor at the front and one in the main straight away? He wants to, but with the Reaper nearby, he's going to have to be a little bit more patient. Zerglings and the queen trying to defend that. Reaper could dive on it. Oh, he barely doesn't see the tumor there. Notice how Reynor doesn't spread to the very edge of the creep. He does on this one, but that's because he's kind of pushed that Reaper back to a certain extent. Good movement by Clem. Not able to find any pickoffs other than that first Zergling that went down this game. Starport is coming up. Looks like he will be swapping that over onto the Tech Lab barracks. Now, on the other hand, I talked about Clem being predictable and just wanting to play a longer game. Reynor also is so good at his early mid-game. He's also predictably going to just try and play up into Ling Bane, into Lurkers. There are times, especially on a map which he feels that his race is much weaker on, where he will play Roaches, try to do a big Roach shove. But it's been a while since I've seen it. He used to do it on Blackburn a fair bit because he hated playing versus Terran on that map. He used to throw out Baneling all-ins. The thing is, Reynor is a little bit predictable at doing that. So, I mean, what's going to be the best Terran map, right? Terran will probably Zerg vetoes Stargazers. Terran, I don't know what Terran vetoes. If maybe Tropical Sacrifice? I mean, it's Tropical Sacrifice, Data Sea, or Cosmic Sapphire. It's one of these really big maps, usually. Whoa! Armory on the way! Oh, it's the Serral Killer. This is the Serral Killer build. For those who remember Valencia, 3 command center into a very delayed Hellbat timing. Something which actually did very well versus Serral. Even though it's much later than the normal Hellbat timing, you're doing it with your third command center, landed, building SCVs, and actually Clem might be doing this as a multi-prong even. He's now picked off 2 Overlords and a Zergling. Oh, this Zergling's going to get a good scout, though. You don't want to let him in that base. You do not want to let him in, but oh, damn. He should be seeing that Armory. Armory's in the back of the base, though. He's not actually spotting it right now. It's actually kind of good for Clem that this hasn't been spotted. Zergling does kill the SCV building the barracks. Gosh, that's annoying. Clem hasn't fixed that up just yet. Hopefully he realizes and does remember to. Hellions going to drop in the main. He's going to morph 4 Hellbats in the main while looking for a potential Hellbat morph on the front. There's a Spore Crawler there, already getting good damage on the medevac. Drones have pulled away. Zerglings and Queen going to try to defend. Ooh, he's going to get in the choke point. Nice moves here, but the Queens can focus the medevac down, and then they can bait these Hellbats out of that. And nice movements by Reynor. Reynor does lose a Queen there, a little sloppy. I think he was slightly off creep too, wasn't able to transfuse. The Hellbats do go down though, not really getting any drone damage. And behind it, the barracks is not building. Oh, big mistake for Clem here. Great pick off by Reynor. Oh, Clem still hasn't realized. Clem finally is like, why can I not swap my barracks? What the hell? And he's like, oh, damn. So he should already be building 5 Marines at a time. Instead, he's not able to. And he has not found the damage. Reynor has a spectacular start. Look at his creep spread. He has about 14 active tumors on the map. His 9 Queens are completely controlling everything. The only thing Reynor's missing is some Overlords on the edge, and that's because the Viking's still out of the map. But the moment that Viking's gone, expect Overlords to spread out and fill up all the vision areas on the map. 1-1 upgrades for him, especially the Carapace is actually ahead of the attack upgrade of Clem. Wow. Reynor's on 75 workers going to 80 at the 6-minute 30 mark. I'm not saying Clem's dead, but I'm saying against Reynor, this is the sort of game where when Reynor has this start versus Maru, Maru can't survive. Maru just gets overwhelmed by the first big Ling Bane attack. There's just no way to stop it. It's just going to be such ridiculous numbers. I don't even know if Reynor's going to be able to get 2-2 before he's maxed out. He might have to do a 1-1 Ling Bane timing and just win the game. He also, I mean, he could go straight Infestation Pit and tech up. There's a lot of things he could do. He's already on 6 gases. Got some Lings on the left side, getting ready for a run by. The Viking does spot it, so the Hellion Reaper will deal with that. Clem going to do some nice micro out there. Reynor has to back off. Queens on the right side have got plenty of transfuse. Clem does not want to lose these medevacs. That's not enough Marines to contest. 4th command center is on the way, and with that 2nd factory building a tech lab, we will be seeing Drilling Claw Widow Mines. Widow Mines are able to make comebacks, but when there's this much creep spread and this much of an advantage for Reynor on the map, you know he's going to be flooding out silly numbers of units. He's getting up to over 90 workers already. Clem manages to take the very tip off the creep, but already the Ling's looking for the backstab's going to be very annoying. Picking off that SCV, building the command center, darts in, darts out, free damage, very nicely done by Reynor. 5th hatchery in the top right. Queen's coming on forward. We've got the Marines and the Hellbats and the Widow Mines here. I mean, Clem's making inroads into this territory. He's kind of getting control of this watchtower area, which is definitely effective. Clem stims out there. He doesn't know where the Hellbats are, or where the Baneling morph is, sorry. The Hellbat's starting to get worn down. There's only 2 of them left. Oh, okay. Widow Mines, they get decent hits, but nothing crazy, nothing game-changing. And look at this. Sneaky Banelings coming in. Sensor Tower's not there. Uh-oh. And look at this. Reynor runs in on the front at the same time. Clem looks at that. That means he's not looking here in time. He does do a quick command center lift to spread on out. Nice moves by Clem to mitigate what could have been game-ending damage, but Reynor's pouncing. He says, dude, I'm not done. Half your army's picked up into medevacs. I can just run in and kill all your shiz. 15 SCVs go down. Clem quick to answer those. Strikes in with a Marine Widow Mine. Drop on the south side. Reynor's already going back in on the front, though. He says, you thought I was done? Just kidding, bro. Oh, man. Baneling's finding fresh mules in the mineral line. Beautiful pickups. And the Hydraling is here. Oh, that medevac taking so much damage. Look at that. There's a Spore Crawler on the right. Queens, Lings, Hydras on all sides. The Lings do go back in. Looks like that one is finally going to go in Clem's favor, but units lost tab overall very even. And an even units lost tab is a disaster for the Terran player. You want to be close to at least 50% more efficient. Sometimes Clem plays 2 times more efficient than the Zerg, and it's still a close game because this is a 90 drone Zerg. Reynor has unlimited money. This is a very good fight for Clem, but the Widow Mine's on the left side, not getting the shots that he wants. The Hydra Queen does come forward. Where are the Banelings right now? Reynor is known for being so ridiculously greedy on the economy. Sometimes he does get caught out. Clem does get a good fight at the start of that, but then the Baneling spready comes through, deactivates the Widow Mines, cleans up that field, and, ooh, not a bad Widow Mine there. Tries to even save it, not quite able to get the pickup in time. Marine drop on the back is still being guarded by the Hydra Zergling. A new small Marine Mine Force moving to the bottom left, looking to deny the gold and slowly clear this creep. Hive is now on the way. He's going to be heading towards those lurkers. More Lings and Banes are on the way. Making muscular augments is Reynor. Now remember, Reynor always forgets to make grooved spines. He often doesn't even remember this upgrade. I've seen him make 20 Hydralisks before starting a single upgrade for those, even though Hydras are one of the units that gets the most to gain out of those upgrades. Without them, their movement speed is really poor, especially off creep, and of course, their range. 1 less range is massive, especially when you're trying to outrange Widow Mines. Pick off Marines and Marauders. Marine Widow Mine still continuing forward. It's still an explosive, high damage output, but incredibly fragile army for Clem. It's all Marine Widowmine focused, but only 35 Marines. That is not really the number that he wants. He's got 3 more barracks coming in. He's got to find a way to build this Marine count up, and he wants to keep pushing and keeping the pressure on Reynor, but Reynor's got so much money behind this. Oof. The Lingbane Hydra is trying to pull back. Here we go. Marine Widowmine doing what they can. We've got the Lingbane Hydra down there as well. Planetary in the bottom left side. And we've got those 3 tech labs coming down. That's going to be 8 barracks production, so the Marauder count will grow. Unfortunately, Clem, he may be a grower in this scenario, but he better show some of that concussive shells, otherwise he's in trubs. The Widowmine's getting some very good shots off right now. Okay, here we go. Oh my god, there's just so much creep. There's so much creep! How is there creep already up to the rocks? Clem is like, what the hell, dude? This isn't even fair. Widowmine Marine is a very momentum-focused style, yet whenever he looks away from any lane for half a moment, Reynor is already up in his business, and that is a massive problem. The Banelings are clearing that mineral line out, and he's getting overwhelmed. He just does not have enough units. Reynor has had too much of an income advantage for too long, and this all comes back to that. The early Hellbat attack got stopped in its tracks. It really achieved very little. Banelings blowing up everything. The counterattack gets cleaned up. There's still Lings in the mineral line. The SCVs are all in tatters. There's so few left. Check it out. 3 Vipers Adrenal, 3-3 melee Carapace, up against a Clem with a handful of Marines and Marauders. And I'm telling you, they better be taking steroids, man. They better be taking steroids, typing hacks into the consoles in their power armor. IDDQD, IDKFA, man. They better start equipping themselves with BFGs, because otherwise they are absolutely screwed. Reynor is maxed out permanently. He has unlimited units, and this little force of Terran has got nothing. It's got no answers, man. The Ling flank comes in. All of his Widow Mines, even if they get a few big hits, look at that. Beautiful spreadies from Reynor. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Vipers are coming across the map, and it looks like Clem is doomed in this first map. The Hellbat attack did not go well. It was shut down, and from there, Reynor's just like, oh, you want to try a silly Hellbat attack? You want to try that silly Serral Slayer build? Nuh-uh, that ain't going to work on me, bud. To be fair, I think the Serral Slayer had Marauders as well, whereas this was more of a pure Hellbat poke, but it just didn't find anything. Problem with Hellbats is that they're so slow to march forward, and we can see, look at this, just way too many numbers. Widowmines also are very ineffective if you're outnumbered massively. Widowmines are best when you've got a good amount of supporting units gunning down the front units so that the Widowmines naturally focus on large clumps. When you're that far behind, the Widowmines only are a comeback unit versus low-level players that F2 their army around in a giant ball. Versus a god like Reynor, there is no way. A beautiful start to the series for Reynor. Well, that does seem like a delicious start here for Reynor, going into Stargazers. And it is, of course, a big boy map. This will be Clem's map pick, I believe. Very easy for the Terran to defend all these bases and push on through, either up this northern path or up on this high ground. Gets very dicey because the Zerg, to do a run by, they have to go all the way around, and it's such a diversion. It takes so long that a lot of the time you see the Zerg not even opt for that. Just end up fighting front on a heck of a lot more. Excuse me. Because of that, I do think maybe this would actually be a decent map to play Roach Hydra Lurker on. Because Roach Hydra and Roach Lurker in general is a style which can kind of contest the Terran army positionally. So you're more, unlike Ling Bane, where it's like, when you engage, you have to just swarm over them and break their line. With Roach Hydra, you can kind of like vie for position and then like slowly push back and push forwards and punish them if they get caught out of position. So, I mean, that's an option. Reynor definitely would not play that style. I'm pretty sure Reynor's just going to expand along this bottom side of the map. Maybe even go for the gold as like a 5th base. I think he'll ignore this base all game long until much later because it's just so droppable by the Terran. It's so exposed. If you don't mind these minerals out, they can siege tanks below it. Likewise, this base, the bridge is so nearby that it can be very hard to defend that base. The only reason I mention Roaches is Reynor's. I mean, like I said before, if there's a map which he hates playing on, Roaches are always a possibility. And the reason why, I mean, he might play it on this map, because this map is the closest thing to Blackburn on this map pool, and he hated Blackburn. He played Roaches on it a fair bit. Historically, I've been very critical of Reynor's styles that he plays on maps that aren't to his favor or to his liking. I feel like he's not always picked the best strategies. Like, I remember when he was struggling against Mech on Blackburn, and he was like, oh, I'll just play Lingbane Muta. And he'd see they were playing Mech, and then he'd just try to all in with Muta Lingbane. And it was like, It was really telegraphed and it was really obvious. And it kind of looked like he'd given up mentally, which is a weird thing because Reynor doesn't do that very much. But I think like playing Maru in late game, playing against very good defensive turtley mech players on certain maps, sometimes he has that attitude towards late game ZvP as well. Reynor likes movement. He really likes movement and action and backstabbing. You could see in that last game the way his Ling Bane was like running in, running out, backstabbing, pretending he was going to fight, then backing away at the last second and all that sort of stuff. So he really does like that back and forth momentum war. And if you can deny that from him, then that's really good. Clem, though, himself is a momentum, tempo-focused player. So when I see these two lads play, I really feel it is all about who can grab the game, who can grab the game by the balls, who can get the momentum, who can be the one who's dictating when and where the fights are happen. And while both of them are very good defensively, I'd say Reynor has more of a chance of coming back from being a little behind. Clem, he can do it, but it's definitely something that relies on him kind of just dropping and out positioning and catching his opponent off guard. And he's going third command center on the inside. Very easy to defend that base. And not entirely unpredictable for young Clem. Second gas for him on the natural as well. Now, obviously, there was a period where Reynor was swapping a Protoss on maps like this, where he was like, well, you know, I don't like this map that much as ZvT. I'll just play Protoss, right? He was kind of using his hybrid Protoss, but it looks like he's not too keen on doing that in this series, because I think if there was ever a map for him to do it, it would be this one. He's shown he likes playing Phoenix Colossus on this map before. But Reynor going back to just true Zerg grind. I think going into Atlanta after GSL and everything, I think he's knuckling down. I think Reynor felt like, okay, cool, yes, I was pretty good at Protoss, but I need to focus. I need to put all of my focus into this because there is so much awareness you need of all the different situations, all the little sub-variant kind of situations where things go slightly differently. I need to know how to adapt to those. If I don't, I'm going to end up losing games to people that I shouldn't lose to. Like, was it Ragnarok? Took Reynor out of GSL? I'm not sure if it was Ragnarok or someone else, but DRG actually. It was DRG, wasn't it? Lings come in. They managed to cancel a depot. They got, I think, a mule there and 2 SCVs. So, yeah, 1 mule, 1 SCV, and a depot cancel. Saves almost all the Lings. Nice moves by Reynor. It's a big map, so it is hard for Terran to push down to this bottom left side. But I think on the other hand, once Zerg gets to a 5th base, 6th base, 7th base, they all get quite exposed. We are seeing the double medevac production on the way right now, so we will see a double drop as well as this Reaper Hellion, of course, chasing those Lings back across the map. Clem very happy to take that fight. He knows those Lings can't turn to fight. Creep spread, dude. Absolutely indomitable. Reynor's creep spread is ridiculous. You know, it's a thing. We used to talk about Scarlet's creep spread, but Reynor's creep spread is monstrous. It really is the next level of map control. It's something that passively says, hey, if you leave me to my own devices, I will infest this entire map. You need to get a move on Terran player. Now, Clem's going to that top side of the map. He drops a few Marines there, but look at that. The Zergling micros off the watchtower. Micro is straight back onto it. Queen Zergling coming into the main. Single Evo. So Reynor's going to play Carapace here. He's already got Baneling speed on the way. Kind of bizarre to go single Evo this late in the game, but I guess he's got an idea about how he wants to do this. I think we'll see a second Evo in the next 20 seconds. And does he take the 4th down the bottom? I would imagine so. Behind this, 5 barracks? No, still only 3 barracks. Double engineering bay almost finished. So Clem will be getting those upgrades started at about 6 minutes. He's not really finding any damage, is he? He's got a siege tank and 4 Marines coming forward. And Reynor's going to go for the 4th and a 5th at the same time. Classic Reynor. It's a really good idea. If he has to give up one of those positions, he can always just transfer workers to the other. And he's also... Okay, Queen's coming on forward. The tank is pretty far back here, so nice conservative placement for Clem. Those Queens could march forward and take the tank out. Gets a tank shot or 2 off on those Zerglings. Clem's playing very cautiously right now, and he's playing a tank style. I really feel like the Marine style is always what does the best for him. But, oh my god, he's going up to 8 barracks already. Is he just going to do a big giant all-in? Clem stopped building workers. He doesn't have an armory on the way, though I guess that'll be the next thing that he adds. I wonder if he adds tech labs, or maybe just goes reactors. He doesn't even have space for an add-on on that barracks. I think he might just be going for a Marine tank parade. He hasn't mined this out. It looks like he wants to march forward, but I've got to ask the question, where does this lead? This push angle... Okay, I'm going to tell you guys exactly where he has his eyes set. Clem wants to push these queens back, clear this creep, and get tanks there and there on either side of that. In which case, Ling Bane is going to really struggle to deal with it. But these queens are doing a very good job of just buying time, making it hard for him to get in position. The idea is if he gets tanks there, he can branch in and deny this main base. But it's very slow to get that working. And I feel like Reynor, if he's calm, he could be like, well, realistically, I can run my drones away. It's not that much infrastructure. I can rebuild my Evos down here. I can take the gold base. I can expand to the bottom of the map. I don't need to fight that. And look, he's already set up for a giant Ling Bane backstab. Luckily for him, Clem is gathering up in the main base. Luckily for Clem, that is, with a giant army. Looks like he's going to get a Baneling drop to go in as well. Another tank is here. He's still trying to elevate forwards, but it feels like Clem is not finding the opening that he'd like to. 4 Marine stim forward. The tanks do start to shell on the queens, but the queens don't really care. 13 queens, a 14th queen on the way. +2 carapace, +1 melee. Reynor's handling this really well. Oh, the Marines see the drop. Reynor's like, okay, get out of there. I don't know if Clem noticed that, though. You feel like Clem would have split some Marines if that was the case. Massive Ling Bane attack at the same time. Uh-oh. Big Baneling bust. The Banelings did kind of get blocked by the Zerglings, so it's a little bit slower to happen than he would have liked. The SCVs are trying to hide. Great spready on the Marines. Baneling drop in the north only gets 5 SCVs. Ooh, and he gets rid of all these Banelings. But wait, there's 4 more Banelings at the front. Clem needs to get down to the SCVs. Oh, no. Clem losing 17 SCVs. 20 SCVs and a ton of depots. It's not the cheapest trade, of course, for Reynor, who does sacrifice a lot of Banelings. But nonetheless, that's a frustrating amount of damage for a Clem who's only on 50 workers now. And remember, he does not have a lot of longevity. He's got an armory, but he hasn't started 2-2. Whereas we've got +2 carapace on the way. That tank is way out in the open. The Ling Bane jumping on him. Massive Ling backstab with the door wide open. Clem caught with his pants down. And Reynor says, mate, I wasn't born yesterday. I'm not going to fight you on your terms on the front. I'm just going to tear your wall down and backstab you to death. Reynor poised to take a 3-0 advantage in this best of 7. And if those Marines go any further forward, they're going to get hammered. Reynor has so much Queenling Bane here. And you can see Clem's trying to bait him out into those siege tanks. But he's so damaged. He's so wounded. 66 Marines, 6 tanks. He's starting +2 armor, but he hasn't got enough money to start +2 attack. He's on only 40 SCVs, and Reynor's set up for the sandwich. Look at that. He's going to catch some of these Marines still coming across the map. The medevac can only save a few of those. Yeah, 3 Marines saved, and that means he's ready to slam in from the right and the left at the same time. Clem is about to feel what it is to be, of course, the peanut butter and jelly inside this Zerg Sanger. Here we go. Look at this setup. Reynor ready to seal the deal. He's coming in from every single angle. And there we go. He pulls the trigger. Coming in from every side. Mass Ling Bane filtering in. Nowhere to run. Nowhere to hide. Clem pulling back as fast as he can. But that gets completely shut down. And Reynor is dominating. Absolutely dominating. 3-0 lead already. A terrible start for Clem. Well, he's a dominating king. He's an absolute monster. He's a beast, and he's already up 3-0 in this grand finals. Going on to Data C. Let's see if he can finish it off. It's Reynor in the top right, going for Hatch Gas Pool. To scout for the proxy barracks. I almost wonder why you even bother. Last time Clem proxy barracks was 6 years ago. I'm kidding. I think he does do a proxy Reaper build sometimes, actually, or like a 2-Rax Reaper. But very rare will he commit to the double proxy Marine rush that Kua, Maru, the Koreans are so commonly mixing in there, keeping their Zergs in Korea off balance, but Reynor not having to worry too much about it. Looks like just a standard 1-Rax expand here. Reaper, second depot goes down. We'll find out in a little moment if he's going for that third command center once again. So here's my kind of requests for this game from Clem, guys. Number 1, I want to see him go for a Liberator. Rather than, I mean, he could go Viking again, it's okay, but like, I would like to see a Liberator. Just Hellion Lib, totally fine, or Hellion Viking Lib. I still want to see him go third command center, but I want to see him go straight into Widow Mines instead of tanks. Actually, oh, on this map, tanks are so good. 2-base tank all-in is especially disgusting on this map. I have seen Beyond win so many games of that recently, and hey! First time this series, Clem gets a drone kill. Oh, that's a big one. Reynor should have been quicker on pulling that drone away there. Very sloppy on his part. Third hatchery is up to the left. Clem sees that. He's going for a third command center. I mean, if you go 3cc, I don't know if the tank kills are really that good, man. The tank pushes, I mean. Because there's normally a tank spot. Put a tank there. Put a tank there. You can even siege a tank in the choke point if you want, or you could just have like 2 Hellbats there, a Hellbat there, a Hellbat there. They just cannot engage into it. It's the most disgusting push. You drop Marines across the gap, siege the 3rd. But I imagine Reynor's going to take a 4th here, probably a 5th down here. But knowing him, actually, maybe he just pushes his creep out the left side of the map so bloody quickly that he actually wants to take a 5th in the top left and just get out far in front of the base. Starport's there, no Tech Lab, which means he will be going Viking Lib or Medevac, I would imagine. As I say that, never mind, Tech Lab does start up. Reaper gets a Zergling as well. Hasn't really delayed the creep spread very much, but that's all right. 4th Queen on the way for Reynor. Reynor's slightly supply blocked on... No, actually, he wasn't supply blocked at all. He almost was supply blocked, but it didn't actually block the production of a single unit. So perfect timings on his Overlords. Clem at 41 out of 46. The glory of the 3 command center build is a command center is almost worth 2 supply depots, guys. It is 15 supply, just 1 less supply than 2 depots. So if you think about it, it's only 200 minerals because you're getting the value of 2 depots. So you don't need to build more than your first 2 depots until really late when you're doing this style. You're going to see Clem will start a depot here on the natural, usually at about 4 minutes or 4:10. That's not walled off to the edge. So hopefully Clem realizes that is still open there. Of course, this is Reynor we're talking about. Any hole is a goal for his horny little Zerglings. They will slide in anywhere that's left unguarded. Queens are split on both sides. We can keep an eye on the control groups as well. You can see 3 queens on this side, 3 queens on that side. He's just added new queens into those control groups that he's bringing down to the front. Great creep spread here. He's got really good Overlord pattern. This is what I like about Reynor. Serral leaves his Overlords in more conservative positions a bit further back because he's worried about Vikings. But look at Reynor's vision. He sees everywhere these Hellions move so far ahead of time. So his queens are always in position. Baneling Nest and Lair both on the way along with a second gas. So it's going to be a classic Baneling speed opening up against Cloaked Banshees. Extra barracks are coming down behind this, and expect a double engineering bay to go down in about 20, maybe 30 seconds. Usually about 5:30 on the double E bay is pretty standard. First Banshee gets deflected on the north. Hellion's still not finding any real pickoffs. He hasn't killed a single creep tumor this game. But there we go. Finally gets a couple of them. Wait. He's going to dart on in. Whoa! Whoa, where are the Zerglings? Okay, he's got a good number, but he's got to spread the Lings out. Reynor needs to spread the Lings. If those Hellions get a big volley, this could be massive. The Queens were not in position, and this mistake could be punished, but the Lings got a pretty good wraparound. There's still 5 Hellions there. They have not found the mark on the drones just yet. Oh, he's trying to use a drone force field there. Great pull, but those drones need to pull. Oh, he lets them up. These 2 Hellions are up in the main. He's trying to stack some shots. He's not going to get the big value that he's looking for. The Hellions only getting 4 drones. I think he needed more than this. This is not what he needed. Yes, he killed a lot of Zerglings. You're like, oh, look, he traded positively. But he's just ceded map control against a guy whose creep is already 1/3 of the way across the map. And now, the only thing he's got left to contest map control is 2 Banshees that are going home to get repaired. Clem, that is a disastrous start for him. On the other hand, he does have a second factory very quickly. So he's going to go into Drilling Claw Widow Mines really early. I wouldn't be surprised to see him drop a 4th command center out here at about 6 minutes 50. So he's going to be gearing up for a big macro game. His reactor's still building on the factory. I wouldn't be surprised to see him opting for some Widow Mine drops to open up the mid game. And if he can find some big harassment damage while taking that quick 4th base, he will be able to contest. The problem is, of course, like I said, that creep spread. You've now given Reynor control of the map. Let's go to Reynor's camera. We can watch from his view. His double Evo is incredibly late, only starting at about 6 minutes 20, but he's already at 72 workers. And honestly, I'm surprised it's only 72. Yeah, give him another 30, 40 seconds. We're going to be seeing a 90 drone Zerg. You give him this much control over the map, and he is going to go absolutely greedy. Reynor's got 1-1 upgrades on the way. They are about a minute, maybe 80 seconds behind, I think, against, yeah, about 80 seconds behind Clem's upgrade. So pretty behind on that. But dude, the creep, a little bit more focus on spreading it in the north would be exceptional, especially to the very far top left. But you can see here he's got Hydra and Overlord speed, 80 drones going to 83. Let's go back to everyone's camera. It looks like that command center did indeed go down just before the 7-minute mark, about 6:50. So you can always tell, guys, because if there's a second factory and the player's playing quite defensively, if they go super quick second factory, they're really hitting their upgrade timings, you know they're going to go 4th command center as well, almost always, because Clem is not gearing up for an instant push that wins. He's saying, I'm going to split push you with Biomine over 5-10 minutes, and I'm just going to look for good trades, and I'm going to keep expanding, and good trades, and keep expanding. And unlike game 1, where he was miles behind, Reynor has great creep spread, but Clem has just chopped the head off the north side of it. He's slowing that down. He's got an army on the south. He's got to get rid of that tumor as well. Very important that he splits some units off to the left. Uh-oh. Oh, Clem with a bit of a mistake. These Lings distracting him. The Banshees do catch it. But leaving that tumor is a big problem because that can keep spreading forwards as well. Ooh, Widow Mines! Not too bad. 5 Lings is not the end of the world. Spore Crawler and a bunch of Queens here able to defend for the moment, but Marines will trade pretty well against that over time. The Biomine comes forward. Banelings will blow up on that Widow Mine. It's only a single mine though, so definitely not a positive trade. Reynor, he's got 84 workers versus 72. His 1-1 upgrades are about to finish, at which point I think he's a bit happier to fight. Clem's supply is looking rather impressive. I like the way that Clem is not trying to force his way in. He's just kind of chipping at the edges, just chipping away and clearing the creep. This creep tumor still a thorn in his side, but the creep on the other sides is actually being completely contained. Double drop in the main goes in. The Spore Crawlers make that a one-way trip. The Queen does focus fire that down. Oh, does save 8 of those Marines and pulls them out. Meanwhile, on the left side, saves most of those Marines. He's going to work around the back. Okay, Clem's got 1 full drop on the right, 2 full drops on the top, but there are spores everywhere. Luckily for him, they haven't moved out to the edges. Oh no! Clem queuing that one into drop. Oh no, he's going to lose 2 full medevacs! Oh, damn. Reynor is all over the drops. He's got billions of spores. He knows what Clem's game is, and he is so well prepared. He has got spores on every single front. Yes, the creep's being pushed back, but you know what? The moment there's an Overseer here, those Banshees could be dead as well. Nice pullback by Clem. And he does save both Banshees. Very important. He's got a 4th base established, does Clem. 2-2 upgrades are on the way. He's building 11 Marines at a time. He hasn't even added Tech Labs there. He does now cancel. Builds the Tech Labs. 5th Command Center is on the way as well. Oh, these Widow Mines! Does get a decent hit on that one, but loses 3 or 4 mines and about 10 Marines. Reynor's still winning these battles cost for cost. It is still dead even, and that is a massive victory for Reynor. Remember, anytime you're going even in the units lost, it is good for the Zerg. On the other hand, Reynor's not quite as greedy as he sometimes otherwise would be. Widow Mine does manage to get spotted and taken down there. Marine Drop comes in, and he does focus down a few of these. Looks like another Widow Mine did fire somewhere. I don't know where. 12 workers going down in total. Looks like Reynor does need to regrow that worker count. He's not at the 90 or 100 drones, and on this base, it gets very difficult to expand to those corners. Clem's doing a really good job of controlling the middle of the map. He finally cleared that creep up, that one tumor that he missed earlier on in the game. Marines and Widow Mines are trying to dance on the front, but now Reynor's going to backstab him. We know that Clem does best when he's on the offense. When he gets pulled to the back onto the defense, that's where things go awry. More often than not. But you know what? The Banshees scared Reynor away from that. Now Reynor's just trying to collapse on this army, and that's good for map control. Looks like I think a Widow Mine drop came in and got shot down by those Spore Crawlers over there. Reynor's got map control. That's good for him. But he needs to get a 6th base. He needs to get that hive tech going. And remember that these Banshees have done such a good job. 7 kills and 11 kills. The Hydras can push them back. That's always effective, but not able to kill them is a big problem. Clem doing such a good job of preserving his units. Whoa! Every single Widow Mine goes down without firing. That's a big victory for Reynor. But that Widow Mine says, get out of here, D-bag. 9 Zerglings get gunned down by that. A few SCVs in the open will fall. The Marines trying to micro, but they're not stimmed right now. Ooh, Lingbane Hydra in the north, Lingbane Hydra in the south, and Reynor right now says, yeah, try and take a 5th base. I dare you, buddy. I dare you. Clem bravely steps forward, but those Banshees, oh no, losing those Banshees, not something that he wanted to have happen. They were giving him such value up to this point, but with 14 Hydras spread across both sides, very good for Reynor. Reynor made both upgrades, can you guys believe it? He made both Hydra upgrades by the 11-minute mark. Reynor, famous for forgetting his Hydra upgrades, actually using them very well this game. And the Banelings are coming on forward, pushing Clem back. Reynor's got 97 workers. He does lose a hatchery up there, but it's worth it because the Banelings explode on those Marines. And look at that. Nice Zergling spreadies there. I mean, yes, the Widow Mine's got 8 kills, but these are Zerglings and they are somewhat expendable. Now, if Reynor could collapse on this base, I feel like that army, if it went down around to the right, morphed all the Lings into Banes, he could collapse on this, right? Bring his whole army over there, but he's worried about the push on the north, and he's trying to take this hatchery, which I've got to disagree with this. I feel like Reynor should absolutely focus all of his hatcheries on one side. If he's taking the top, he should smash this base, and he should be attacking. If he wants to take this side, he should take only bases down here and smash this. Right now, he's staying defensive, and that's a very bad move when you're spreading yourself so thin. Nice spreadies on the Zerglings, minimizes those Widow Mines, but no Overseer, no Banes, and no Hydras means he can't really shut that one down. Mass Hydraling Bane is down here in the bottom side. He's doing a good job with it. Lings do take out that Widow Mine as well in the top side. The pure Zergling cannot contest this. Oh no, that's a disaster for Reynor. His Lings get overwhelmed. He's got 100 drones right now, but he doesn't have any lava. He's 22 supplies short of max, and he does not have enough lava. His Hydra's trying to defend Reynor, getting a bit too fast and loose. He split all of his Hydras and Banes to the bottom right, and that was a big mistake. I don't know why he split all his Hydra Bane to the bottom right and left only Zerglings in the top left, but it was a big mistake, just a moment here, and Clem has pounced on it, diving in the main, overwhelming the Lings that are straggling into that. Big Widow Mine gets 11 Zerglings, winning on the left, winning on the right. Wait, no, the right side does start to get cleaned up by the Hydra Spore. No way home for those Marines and Marauders, but the left base goes down. So many drones falling as well. 10 drones. Back to 90 workers, but more important, losing this hatchery, and this hatchery is a huge, devastating problem. I don't know why Reynor was focusing on expanding to the top left while committing his whole army to the bottom right, but it was a huge misplay. Now he's committing his whole army to the top left while expanding to the bottom right. Reynor's expansion pattern is not logical. You can tell Clem's got under his skin with this movement. The way Clem is picking him apart on two sides, and Reynor's letting him do it. Reynor needs to be counterattacking and taking the fight onto Clem's side of the map. But instead, another hatchery cancel, another dive in the far top left and the far bottom right at the same time. Clem is picking when and where these fights happen, and we've talked about it for the past few years. The moment Clem is deciding where and when the fights happen, he will trade so much more efficient than you. Remember, they were dead even in the units lost. Now Clem ahead 6,000 resources and climbing. He is doing so much better in every single fight that happens, and it's continuing because Reynor is stuck in his corner of the map. He's playing very static. He's making a lurker den out of desperation to stabilize, but that's still a while away. And in the meantime, Marine, Marauder, multi-prong, Widow Mine is going to trade super well. Clem is actually purposely trying to spread this game out. He's expanding to the bottom right and the top left at the same time. A very bad idea for a Terran who's turtling on siege tanks and ghosts, but for a guy who's so mobile with Biomine, why not? Choke your opponent to death, strangle them out. You've got map control, they don't. So you might as well be expanding to everywhere on the map and just trying to outgrow your opponent. 80 SCVs versus 85 drones. Marauder, Widow Mine looking for those big juicies, but the Ling Bane focusing him down nice and fast. Viper's unable to chase that down. Planetary, Widow Mine turret, plus the double drop on the north. You need a big army to take these bases out. Planetaries are not something that can be dealt with a handful of units. Reynor's still got a maxed out army, but he's on 3 Vipers. The Widow Mine's getting set off here. Oh, that was a lot of Banes that just went down. Reynor needs to find a way to push in and deny a base and do some real damage, but he's out of Zerglings here. Those Widow Mines not getting the biggest hits. Ooh, a couple Overseers do go down. Parasitic Bombs taking out a few of those Medevacs. Hydra's going to try to take out the command center, but this now gives Clem the chance to take a pretty good fight. I don't know if he's going to be able to get that command center. Widow Mines picked off by Banelings. The Abduct also on the Ghost was pretty nice, but the command center survives. Remember, building armor has been made. Plus 2 armor on that command center. That brings it up to 3 armor. Planetary Fortresses also get bonus 2 armor, so they're on 5. Oh my god, the Blinding Cloud tries to take a fight, but remember, the Banelings are a little bit far behind. He's going to take out the Widow Mines. Ooh, good Widow Mine hit. A messy fight on both sides. I don't know who's going to win this fight. It looks like Clem's supply is better. The Liberators hold their ground, playing Biomine into Liberator Ghost. What a bizarre transition here out of young Clem. I was not expecting a Liberator transition in this game. He was starting Ghosts as well, but he spread Reynor out, and Reynor there, I think, getting a little bit too thin in that mid game. I really feel like he could have started pouncing on either this top left or this bottom right side, but he got a little bit too defensive, and we saw that Clem was able to just set up these layers of traps of Widow Mines, push both sides, and expand freely behind it. At no point did Clem have to gather up his defenses at home. Definitely playing to the strengths of the map was Clem, and he did that excellently, but Reynor's got to find a way to put counter pressure on Clem, otherwise he will run away with these late games. Check the units lost to finish that one. 10,000 resources from dead even at about 6,000 apiece early on. That's a big turnaround. There was about 2-to-1 cost efficiency for some parts of that game. GG, well played. Fighting back, not ready to go down without a fight. And you know what? He's going into Moondance. Team Liquid's Clem here, up against Kaisi Gaming's Reynor. And if there was ever a map to really get the comeback train going, it's Moondance. You get a free base in the back. The rush distance is very short. And I wonder how Reynor plays this map. it's Reynor, so he's just going to go hatch first, right? I want to see 16 pull. I'd like to see him do that Serral build, actually. Serral did 16 pull, 17 hatch, 19 hatch. Or, no, it wasn't 19, it was 22 hatch. He started the Queen and Overlord and then the third hatchery. It was really cool. Looks like he's just going to go hatchery first, though. Reynor's like, whatever, man. Shortest rush distance in the pool. Reaper gets here in 2 seconds. No worries. Remember, he lost a drone at the start of that last game. One drone early game slows down everything. Like, it has a little bit of a cascading effect, right? So, hatch first. Very hard to not lose a drone on this map to the early Reaper. Well, it's not that hard, but you have to do a few Spore Crawler tricks. And that in itself is very expensive. If you do 2 Spore Crawler tricks, you lose enough mining time, as well as the minerals itself. It's kind of the same as losing a drone. Hatch gas pool there going down as well. Someone got timed out in Twitch chat. No worries, dude. Don't know who it was. I'll catch up on that later if there's an issue. Do we see 3cc again for young Clem? A lot of players go quick Banshee on this map to stay safe against all the shenanigans Zerg can throw their way. I feel like Reynor's so confident lately with his Ling Bane, he'll just play standard Ling Bane, but man, this map's not bad for a big roach shove. It's really good if you can pretend to go Queen Zergling and then do it. Yeah. Drones there as well. Alright, 2 queens, 4 lings. That Reaper does get here very early. Beyond on this map often pulls a second SCV to build the bunker so that he can build it 1 second earlier. So he doesn't have to wait for the SCV to hop off the supply depot and then build it when it's finished. Let's see if he can get that damage I was talking about. Well, the lings still pop in time. Clem a little slow to go after the drone. Does bounce one of those. And he's just going to go after the Zerglings for now. Reynor, good micro so far. He's still got to buy about 8 seconds till that queen comes out. 1 Zergling goes down. Another one looking very vulnerable there, but that Reaper's staying a bit too long. You can hide in the back on this map. The problem is if you're hiding in the back, they can easily put a tumor down. It's very hard to get out from that back area. Now, that's a very early creep tumor coming out for Reynor. He's got this 3rd base in the north. I do wonder, do you keep expanding to the north and take the 4th there and just focus on spreading your creep forwards? Or does he go down to the left side and then take the 5th in the back? I'm always curious to see how the top pros are playing on this map. Clem, 3rd command center on location, taking full advantage of this map. I don't know, man. I still feel like a sneaky Ravager Ling could do very well. Clem has not been scouting the main base of Zergs very much. Well, he lets him right in, does Reynor this time around. Oh, Reaper does kind of get blocked by that queen. He's gonna try and hit the creep tumor. He does, yeah, he gets some pretty good vision there. Thing is, you could still put back on gas, drop a Roach War and a 2nd gas right now and still hit a vicious Roach timing. But Reynor, I don't think he has any of that in his mind. I think he's just like, nah, rock solid play, let's go. And if he does that, well, his downfall in the last game was not backstabbing enough. I want to see more backstabs. I want to see more of these cool moves going around. Banshee is on the way. We've got that 3rd base as well. 3rd orbital already making in the back. Hellion Reaper comes 4th. I always feel like this mineral line's hard to defend because look how open this area is on the natural. It's kind of hard. And you see Reynor's already splitting his queens, anticipating this. That Overlord is going to shuffle forward to give him early warning. Oh, Clem will lose that Reaper. It's a bit of a mistake. Normally that Reaper regen, such a good renewable resource. Hellions are trying to dive. Oh my. They got past with minimal damage, but the Zerglings pull back Reynor. Good pullback. Drones are still in the open a little bit, but nice play by Reynor. Gets a Hellion. A very good start for him. There are more Hellions out of the map. It's not too bad losing 1 Hellion, 1 Reaper. It's not the end of the day. But as it is, Clem needs to do some real damage. Going for Hellion Banshee is not cheap. He's up against a 9 Queen Zerg, going up to 50 workers versus his 39. Denying some creep here is, of course, a nice start. That's going to force those queens to put some tumors down. Them putting tumors down means, of course, they are more vulnerable to Banshee Hellions sniping them out. Just trying to catch these queens. Sometimes you run away and then you run straight back in knowing they've put the tumors down. The problem is the queens are in front guarding those tumors, so sniping them would cost you a lot of hit points. Doesn't quite get that creep tumor. Nice defense by Reynor so far. You can see this queen split is exceptional. But Reynor's a bit too far forward. He's got to be careful. Defending the front of the creep is really good. But if you stay on the very front, you don't pull back, then the Hellions can outposition you. So you see the queens here. Every time they move to the front, there's a chance the Hellions do circle around and dart in another entrance. Lair's about to finish. We expect a very quick baneling speed into double Evo chamber is usually the play off this opening. Overseer does morph defensively, ready to help deal with the Banshee. Second Banshee joins in here as well. They are both cloaked. Hellions on the right side, dancing with these queens a little bit. Banshee's going after them. Uh-oh. Queens down here do not have transfuse available. Banshee's doing some good damage. One queen goes down. Another queen getting very low. There comes the Overseer, though. One of the Banshees falls. Reynor's probably happy to trade a queen or two to take out a Banshee. If you take those Banshees out, it really slows down what they can do. No longer able to one-shot drones in the follow-up. Plenty of Zerglings to surround the Hellions as well. Great defense from Reynor. His double Evo chamber's on the way. He's going up to his second gas geyser mining. Now his third gas geyser on the way. He's still playing a very low gas style for now. I am surprised he hasn't gone to 4 or 5 gases. Definitely a little odd. Whoa! Clem building a 624th command center. There is greed, and then there's what Clem's doing, guys. Greed might be good. That might be one of the old cheat codes, right? But you know what? There's greed, and then there's greed. I'm talking about you can hear the absolutely greed-inspired, gold-tinged stiffy that this build from Clem gives Terran players out there watching. Like, what the hell, man? Dude, if he gets that 4th established on location, he's already got the 2nd factory, the armory, the 1-1 upgrades on the way. He is going to have an explosive mid-game. Now, Reyn is obviously a macro god. Yeah, he's doing good, but he hasn't actually transferred workers to that 4th yet. So even with a 5th base coming up, I don't think he's really ahead of the curve. He's got to transfer these extra 6 workers out to that 4th. He's been a little slow to take his gases, so he is, of course, starving a little bit on the gas income. But he is building spores all over the map right now. He's got Lings threatening a backstab, which is a nice move. Here comes that Hellion Marine Widowmine Hellbat move. Second medevac was a little bit delayed, but behind this, 3 mines, non-stop Marines and medevacs are pumping on out. And this is a point in the game where Reynor needs to shut this down because his opponent is getting to a massive economy, will be taking a 4th soon. Reynor cannot be trading badly at this stage, already losing a bit of creep control in front of his 5th, but a bit of Ling Bane getting ready for the flank. 3 Banelings and a pack of Zerglings there. Some of the Ling Bane will crash in. Sanger from the right side, watch out for that Widowmine. It does not able to do anything. And the Widowmine doesn't... Oh, Reynor. Oh, okay, not too bad. 2 Banelings, 2 Zerglings. Could have been worse if he wasn't watching. Sometimes it's the random Widowmine out in the middle of nowhere that does the most damage. Don't you guys know when I get excited, does not able is my most recent. That's how you know a series is good. If I does not able during a series, that's how you know it's exciting. It's because my brain is so busy looking at all of these different things that are going for both players that I am not able to speak proper sentences anymore. The Marines there doing some good damage on the right side. He's going for... Oh, man. This is where you need to backstab. Because look at these trades. This is why Cyril was playing so much Roaches against Clem. Because he's so annoying with his drop harass. And guess what? Widowmine drops are probably coming in as the next phase. I would not be surprised. Yeah, he's already got one on the top right. Off this build, it is going to be an onslaught of drop play. Clem is going to try and just pick him apart. Remember that ZvT is a war of attention. It's make you look here, make you look there. Reynor, though, his creep spread is ridiculous. And that in of itself will keep Clem occupied for a little while. Widowmine drop comes in the north side. He's going to drop 1, 2, and 3 Widowmines all on that mineral line. Reynor not responding. Oh! Oh, boom, shakalaka, 20 drones to 3 Widowmines. Clem is excited. He is on 77 workers, and he's just knocked Reynor's economy down to a very un-Reynor-like number of workers. 66 drones? Reynor's like, dude, 99 drones is what I'd rather have. He's got a lot of Ling Bane, but oh my god, not on the ramp! Oh my, I don't even know what to do with my commentary there, guys, other than make fucking sounds of exclamation and geez, that was nasty. It was a 16 kill Widowmine. Most of those kills were Banelings. That is just, oh, savage. Better than 2-to-1 cost efficiency. This is a tough map for Zerg versus Terran, and Reynor is letting Clem play his game. Reynor is so confident from being up 3-0 that he is letting Clem play a very straightforward standard game. If there was ever a game to do a surprise all-in, a Nidus Worm, a Ravager Ling, a giant Roach Shove, this was it. But Reynor has let Clem play in his comfort zone, and you see the difference between Clem who's able to do what he wants to do, and the Clem that has fallen victim to Dark so many times over the past few years. There is a reason why Dark, he might not be a perfect player. He misses injects. His macro's sloppy. compared to someone like Reynor. His early defense is nowhere near as solid, but by golly, does he know how to exploit his opponents. And that's something, whenever you're playing against Clem, you got to go watch a Dark VOD versus him and remind yourself of all the tricks you can pull to absolutely ruin Clem's day. Reynor is way down in supply. He's back to a good drone count. His 2-2 upgrades are almost done. 2-2's done for the Terran. You don't want to fight for another 20 seconds here. You got to hold on, Reynor. You can't go just before 2-2 finishes. He's trying to buy time, but he doesn't want to give up this base either. The base in the back still being frustrating for him. That double drop in the back, keeping some units pinned. Vipers and Hydras are on the way. He's got move speed for the Hydras, but no groove spines. Overseer and those Hydras could move forward and start to clear Widow Mines, but right now, without the range upgrade, they only have the same range as a Widow Mine, so they can't actually outrange it. Widow Mines are about to recharge. Definitely time to deactivate those because Clem's getting moving, man. Clem is getting moving. There we go. He does spread some of the Lingbane forward. The Widowmine's got some decent hits, but nothing too crazy. Clem will pull back on that side. Meanwhile, we've got an army on the left side. The creep spread. Look how deep it is. Any active tumors available have been constantly spreading. On the top side, there's no creep. In the middle, there's no active tumors. But in the bottom side, my God, that creep was deep. And Reynor, always a player to go deep on a Terran whenever they're not looking. You can see he's now regaining control. Reynor will not go down without a fight. Yes, you got your Ghost transition on the way. You got your Mass Command Center. But Reynor has almost taken Maru down in the end game before. The problem is that he's going into this late game from an inferior position. He does not have the economy, the tech, or the base count that he would like. He's definitely behind. And Clem has a free pass to Mass Command Center Town. He's already got 4 orbitals. Will be going for the Iron Bank. Ooh, nice trades here for Clem. Clem's still doing really well with his biomine, even as the ghost count starts to grow. He's got another army on the north, but there is not enough army in position for Reynor to deal with that. We've got Fusion Core and whatnot coming in. Parasitic Bomb finally cleans up that drop, but look at this beautiful spread of units from Clem, just denying the territory. Reynor's trying to respread his control. Some Lingbane will come north. The Queen's going to try and buy time. Ooh, Clem forgot 3-3 upgrades, guys. Clem has forgotten his 3-3 upgrades. I've just realized it's been a few minutes since his 2-2 finished. Oh, big Widow Mines! Reynor's Banelings are finding out about the bloody disgusting power of Widow Mines. Snipe! 2 Vipers! Shot down! Clem's momentum is netting him huge gains in this game. He is at 2-to-1 cost efficiency still, even this deep in the game. Reynor cannot keep this up. Banelings finally getting a good connect. Does take out a few Marauders, Ghosts, and Marines. Big army in the top side is at least keeping a bit of creep control, but Reynor has no active tumors on the south or the middle of the map, and he's got no extra tech. He's building more Vipers. He's trying to play pure Lingbane Hydra, which is an army that can deal with this, but I feel like getting a few Burrowed Infestors out with Fungal, something to ambush his opponent, would really make the big difference. Hydra Lingbane coming in from all sides. The Widowmine does not get to shoot. Hot pickup for Clem, saves most of his units. He's up to 8 Ghosts. Is Ghosts the right thing to do here? I do wonder. They're very good for sniping Hydras and Banes, but he's naturally not going to be able to be as far forward on the map. Once he starts getting to that situation, you see these Ghosts do get their snipes interrupted there. 1 or 2 of them go off, but the Lingbane will trade. Not the greatest. It's still cost inefficient. So many Banelings going down, and Clem is just happy to throw his units into that Baneling meat grinder as long as they're pre-spread. He says, I can reproduce way better than you can. Reynor, he's got Hydra Lingbane still. He's very focused on this comp. He wants to get control, get his creep spread, his economy back up and rolling, and then start trying to deny bases. Problem: Planetary, Widowmine, Bio, Ghost is solid on every single side of this map. This bottom base is a little undefended. Widowmines and Ghost trying to come forward. Will he be able to defend? Parasitic Bombs going down. Lingbane overwhelming the Bio Ghost, but chasing into another Planetary Fortress means this will be a losing trade. Planetary Splash is massive. For those who don't know, it does 40 damage a shot with a lot of area effect. Nice hot pickup in the north side here. And even these Banelings, man, out on their own, they're not going to be trading efficiently in the long term. 44 Zerglings, 8 Hydras, 12 Banelings, 3 Vipers. A Lurkaden goes down for Reynor, but I think it's time to go for Broodlords. I don't think he can be playing into Lurkers at this stage. Your opponent's already going into range libs off 2 starports, as well as Ghosts, not to mention the Iron Bank is almost complete. That's 6 orbital command centers. For those who don't know what the Iron Bank is, the Iron Bank is when you hit 7 or more orbital command centers. If you get 8, 9, or 10, it's even better. At that point, you have unlimited scans, so you can see the entire map at will. You also have unlimited mules, which means you can start throwing SCVs away and making a larger than maxed army. So Clem Oh, he actually remembered his +3 finally, by the way. Good on him. He doesn't have +3 armor, but that's something. He's still got a much higher tech army, though. Linkbane Hydra tries to surround this. The Hydras need to get rid of those libs. Nice pullbacks from Clem. The Hydras will take these out. Some parasitic bombs going down as well. It looks like most of those Liberators will die. 1, 2, 3 of them fall. The fourth one will barely escape. Widowmine setting off on a handful of this Linkbane. Reynor is horny right now. He wants to go. He knows he's losing this game, but he sees an opportunity, so he's going to dive. But look at that spready. Oh, a giant, ever-expanding arc of Terran units. The Banelings unable to find the mark, unable to find the connect. Even the SCVs are ever elusive as Clem calmly disperses his troops and says the Banelings will never get a cost-efficient trade. Not in this game. Not today, mate. A Liberator even harassing the far north. Yes, a few SCVs go down, but at this point, you shouldn't even be rebuilding them. That's a big mistake for Clem. He's already oversaturated on some of his bases, I believe. So he absolutely does not need that. He's actually getting a Medevac boost upgrade. For those who don't know, that actually increases the passive movement speed of Medevacs, as well as reduces the cooldown of Ignite Afterburners by 5 seconds. So it goes from 14-second cooldown to 9 seconds. Queen Viper does abduct the Liberator in the top right. Reynor's going into Lurkers. Now, Reynor is a player who I never count out completely, but he is looking stubborn right now. Great Widowmine hit there. Massive Linkbane Hydra fight coming on in. The Linkbane crashing through the right side. I don't know if that was a giant Widowmine or what just happened there. Hydras will take out those libs. The Linkbane Hydra will evict this base from the location, and that's the first proper victory in a while for Reynor. He's going to get some of these ghosts as well, which is not too bad. There we go, turns a few around, but ghosts do not care about Banelings, man. Only 22 damage versus light, even there with +3 versus non-light units, sorry. And of course, the ghost having that 2 armor. +3 armor has not been made, so definitely a very important upgrade missing here for Clem. He does have +2 vehicle armor. Libs, Ghosts, Marines, and Marauders. More Libs coming in the top right side. Queens are not going to be a match for that. Nuh-uh, Reynor's not watching. So the Libs do start to take out a few of those Queens. That's a big problem for him. Those Queens are going to derp in and die as well. Morling Hydra comes in on the right side. Is it enough? Looks like it will be able to overwhelm that army. Meanwhile, on the left side, Clem trying to take out this base, taking the fight to Reynor. Reynor comes in with a flank. The Widowmine's not finding the big hits he would have liked. The Linkbane Hydra cascading forth. It feels like Reynor's doing okay in these fights, but you got to remember the fact that he's just taken so many bad trades leading up to this point. He doesn't have a big bank. Every fight that goes on, even there, look, he grabs a full medevac. How good's that? Grabs an empty medevac. Heck yeah, some value. But it's value added on top of the absolute lack of value poo-poo cake that has been this game for him up to now. There are 7 orbital command centers, more planetaries floating out. And like I said, he can throw his SCVs away, Ken Clem, if the game goes long enough, and he will have a simply larger army. 4 Lurkers, 12 Banes, 4 Hydras are on the way. Reynor needs to go for a Hail Mary Lurkinitis. It is the one play that could get him back in this game right now, but he's trying to morph Lurkers in range of Liberator Bio Ghost. Oh no! Oh, the Banelings! The Banelings! Okay, good split. Oh, that was a very nice split. Actually got a few Widowmines there, but oh, the rallying drone lures the Widowmine into the Linkbane. That's nasty. Widowmine does take out a bunch of Banelings, but they, of course, get a few of the Widowmines at the same time. Reynor's out of bank, he's out of money, he's out of cash. Where are his Vipers? He needs them here right now. He needs something to back up his force. The Vipers are in the top right, trying to deal with that double lib. It's causing him so many issues in this game. We see a double abduct on those Vipers. The Spore Crawler will start to take those out, but man, the snipes are coming in big. The Bio cascading forwards. He's got a few Lings trying to clear up a Widowmine so he can expand down there. Linkbane Hydra coming forward, but the libs are too much. The Linkbane does not have the numbers. And we see the power of Clem. There is a reason why he 3 command centers almost every single game. It's because he's very damned good at it. And you give him a map where he can build that 3rd on location, where he can take a 4th base and land it at the 7-minute 30 mark. And Clem will have the most disgustingly greedy setup. And he will simply overwhelm. If you aren't able to catch him off with some backstabs, if you're being a bit too defensive like Reynor was here in these last 2 games, Clem will run away with it. You've got to find a timing to do something to him. Because Clem has a way of making Terran look utterly broken. If you let him play his game, he is not a fair player to play against. It is one of those things, you know, we say just play like Maru, but oh my god! Just snipe like Clem. Oh man, that whole army in that little corner trying to stay out of lib range. The ghosts just line him up and gun him down. Still up 12,000 resources in the units lost, and now making his way into the heart of the economy. Reynor desperately trying to mine from these bases in the top right, but there is an army in between his rallies that is causing him so much trouble. And Reynor right now is in a rough situation. Clem scans this base in the top right. He's going to F2 his whole army there. The drones are all standing there having a meeting. They're like, should we vote him out? I don't think he represents our interests. Who would tell us to go and mine from right next to the enemy's base? Oh god, they're here! Ah! Meanwhile, Lings do find the bottom left. The Liberator will eventually clear it up, but not before some very nice damage is found. That's why lifting orbitals out to bases is very dangerous. The drones do mostly run away. The Hydraling Lurker is coming forwards as well. That Liberator will get plenty of kills, but it comes at a cost, a very real cost. Hatchery goes down there. Clem's got money for days. He's still got those 7 orbitals. As long as he's got a base to drop mules on, he's good. And he's still got an army over here. What the hell? I thought he gave up this position when he moved to the right, but he clears up a lot of Zerg units. And it just feels like there's not enough answer. Every time he comes forward to abduct, the ghosts are there with EMPs and snipes. If he doesn't abduct, his Hydras are getting smashed by the Liberators. They're getting 2-shot by them. The Libs with range are just kicking butt, and there's no way to force the fight to be anywhere else. Clem is just reinforcing across this map with a never-ending wave of Terran units. And Reynor, he's got the dregs of Zerg, that's all that's left. He does not have enough to hold on. Down 50 army supply, and he throws in the towel on Moondance. Alright, okay, we've got a series on our hands. He's fighting back and he's fighting hard. Clem in the top right now of Tropical Sacrifice. This is a map I really struggle with, ZvT, because there are so many paths and these bridges create some nasty areas, especially with the site blockers there, and up here as well. Things can get really awkward on some of these areas, especially, yeah, up here as well. These site blockers, real nightmares to engage Biomine. But let's see if Reynor mixes things up. Reynor right now seems to just be playing a very straightforward style and just trying to win the straight-up game with Clem. I mean, Reynor's specialty is just playing super rock-solid StarCraft without thinking too much, but I've always said that Reynor is not one of StarCraft's great thinkers. He's just not. He's an intuitive player who is mechanically incredible and is a very good understanding of like, hey, I'll make you look there and I'll do this. Great micro, great macro, but his planning for series is lackluster. I don't think he plans for his opponents very well. And maybe that's because he's just so gifted at the game and his standard play is so solid. But I want to see Reynor here mix something in, whether that just be Mauling Bane backstabs, I mean, Roach Shoving is not that good on this map, but he could try one of those Roach openings that obviously Cyril did very well with in the upper bracket, especially up against Clem and some other players. We'll see. Third command center again for Clem. I mean, it's a little predictable at this point. On the other hand, Clem has been happy to open up with Banshees afterwards, which is a very safe follow-up. There are ways it can get taken out and surprised, though. We'll see. Reynor's opening pretty solid. Third queen. He's got creep spreading forwards. Quick third base. Second gas does go down there for Clem after that starport. Uh-oh. Oh, nice move by Reynor. Almost gets him. Almost gets him. Very nice. Two workers back on gas, and he rallies the third one on just at 3:30. So this is his first lava inject. When those eggs pop, Reynor manually rallies 2 eggs back into the gas. So he's going to get quite a lot of gas all out of that one extractor, which is pretty cool. It's a, well, oh, he's got 4 Lings ready. This is good. They're Hellions. He knows the timing when the Hellions leave. Lings are going to run in. I love it. Little adjustments. This is it. This is what I like to see. This is when Reynor really puts on his thinking cap and says, what are some small details I can do to get momentum? And already he gets an SCV in the natural. He should get at least 3 SCVs here, I would say. And already getting a big bit of mining time. Delaying that mule especially is great value. Now, good micro by Clem, I got to say. Only 2 SCVs went down. It definitely could have been 3 if he was a lesser player. But he lost probably 75 plus minerals from the mule mining, a whole bunch of mining from those SCVs, and for only 4 Zerglings, even just the 2 SCVs is a good value trade. This cost Reynor next to nothing. It was such a small adjustment, and yet it gives him a little bit more tempo, makes things a bit harder for young Clem. I love it. I want to see more of that from Reynor. More things forcing Clem to disrupt his rhythm, because I talk about this so much when I cast Clem, but I really do think it's the case. I think if you don't disrupt his rhythm, you let him get into a flow state, he doesn't need to think. And he can just flow between engagements, picking the fights, dropping picking up, dropping, picking up, kiting into Widow Mines, spreading, picking up, target firing, picking up, macroing, dropping, picking up. And it's like there's just this thing where he's bouncing between the different units on the map so quickly and so fluidly. And all it takes is the occasional Ling or Baneling backstab, forcing him to interrupt that cycle, go look at something else, and then bam, he's not watching and his drop goes down. Remember the first 2 games in this series. Reynor was like, oh, look, there's Lings over here. And then Clem would look at it, and then the Banelings would roll into his army. And Reynor was constantly doing that, attacking from all sides. The Baneling drop on Stargazers while smashing the Ling Bane into the wall at the same time. These are the sort of moves that really can make Clem's life much more difficult. Now, the creep spread has been outstanding all series long. It really is a stellar performance in that regard for young Reynor, sorry. I don't know why I'm calling them young Reynor and young Clem. I like it. That's just their name today. What can I say? Part of being an insane person is at least the commentary is somewhat novel. And saying new things, even if they don't make sense. Great hatchery cancel on the north side. Queens do get pushed, push the Hellions back, but they're going to find those fresh tumors. Ooh. Not bad, not bad. Banshee's going to go back in on that base. They could rotate around the backside, but they are very low on energy, so let's see what he can find. Hellions potentially out positioning. There are 24 Lings on the map, so it should be more than enough Lings to stop those Hellions getting in and doing damage. And with these Queens now in position, yeah, he's going to shove that back. Those Banshees, not long for this world. Meanwhile, Hellions running in, though, which means that could maybe allow the Banshees to get out. The Hellions, dude, the Hellion micro, oh my god, is actually really good. He keeps threatening to run up the ramp and forcing Reynor to clump up in this choke point. This little, it's not even a choke point, yet he's turning it into one just through his micro. What in the hell? Oh no, oh no, 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 Reynor. He's only got, okay, Maulings pop just barely in time. Transfuses a drone there as well, like the savage that he is. Reynor, great scramble. And behind it, guess what? That Queen picked off both Banshees. Both Banshees, all the Hellions are gone. And Reynor says, I'm back on the warpath, baby. Yeah, you got a double drop coming, but you got nothing else. No Hellions, no Hellbats from the early game, none of that jazz. There is a second factory on the way. That'll build a tech lab and then drilling claws. Expect that 4th command center to go down. Remember, it was 650 in the previous games when he had a clean opening. This game, it's going to be closer to 730. You can see his SCV is already there waiting for that 400 minerals to come together. Zerglings, morphing into Banelings, going to roll in with Bane Speed as a backstab. I love it. Reynor is going to keep Clem very busy in this game. He is not going to sit back and wait for Clem to do whatever he wants to him. Marines looking for the snipe. Good pickup, though. Doesn't lose the hatchery, doesn't Reynor. Reynor's got 3 spores in the main. Clem cannot drop there. Banelings roll in. Oh, not bad. They get a bunch of Marines. That's good enough. Remember that Reynor is a player who gets an explosive economy. He can keep taking little trades like that. That's usually going to be more efficient than he can take on the front when Clem's microing the units. Clem is, of course, not able to slow down that 5th base, nor the 4th base, which is now fully saturated. 80+ workers up against a 4th CC that's only halfway done. Reynor coming on down there. He'd like to set off these. Does he have Overseers? He's got 2 Overseers in this game. The Queens on the bottom can kind of defend these non-combat shield Marines okay. Oh, as I say it, combat shields kicks in. And at that point, no Queens are no match for that. They can damage the Medivacs, though. And that's really the big kicker, because if the Medivacs get too low, bam! That's where real losses start to happen when you can't pick up no more. Still a creep tumor that Clem did miss on the south side, but he's looking to push towards the north, apparently. He's got a full medevac in the south. Clem's still got a good biomine parade going, but he is down 15 workers, and it feels like Reynor's had a much better start. Reynor's 1-1 finishes. Hopefully he does remember to start 2-2 very quickly. He rolls a few Lings and Banes in. Widow Mine's causing him a bit of a trouble there. He's second-guessing himself. Ooh, oh, big Widow Mine, it lands! The Queens also don't have an Overseer with them, but he defuses those mines. Banelings do manage to connect. Queen's doing some damage. He's got to clean these Widow Mines up as well. The Overseer does move south. There we go. He's going to clean those up. On the south side, there is still that drop. It's unloaded. It's rejoining these Marines and 5 Widow Mines. The best thing about Clem's play is how well he holds that Widow Mine key down. He is building 9 Widow Mines a minute, and he's throwing them at the Zerg with absolute lack of abandon. He is just, I will keep throwing mines at you. They don't all need to get big hits because it puts an insane amount of pressure onto you. Marines on the north side diving in on that at the same time. Marines on the south and the north Identical timing here. Very tough for Reynor to deal with. He doesn't have any Banelings morphed up here. Hydras should not be fighting on. He built 22 Hydras! That is way too many Hydralisks for this scenario. Reynor, way too many Hydras. He also doesn't have Groove Spines. He doesn't have the range upgrade for them. I mean, don't get me wrong. Okay, that's a crazy move for Clem. Clem's going to dive past the spores. That's a one-way trip if I ever saw one. He really has to get something done with this distraction. And you know what? He actually might. He's got a big army on the north at the same time. Hydras, Lings, Banes trying to join up there. The Lingbane Hydra should get a good fight in the main, but already taking some damage is Reynor. Reynor's coming forward with the Hydra Ling. The Overseer needs to come forward so he can actually gun down those Widow Mines. The drop somehow gets out of the main with a bunch of Marines and all 3 medevacs alive. Can you believe it? Bruised but not dead. Okay, Reynor's got to be careful on this north side. The Overseer goes down, but oh, that Widow Mine's huge. Reynor taking big losses right now. Going for heavy Hydra is very scary because the moment they don't have Banelings, they get their ass handed to them by Marine medevac. The Marines also have 2-2 versus 1-1. Remember that the Hydras don't have any range upgrades and they don't have Groove Spines. Going for 22 Hydras this early in the game was a terrible miscalculation from Reynor. Not something you should be doing. If he kept building Lingbane, he would have had the numbers to hold on. But because he built those Hydras and he's lost so many of them and he's replacing them, he is way too heavy on Hydras. He needs more Lingbane. He's looking for the efficient fights that the Hydras can give him, but now he has to give up a base. Hydras are still trickling into their death, and this is a very unfortunate situation for Reynor to be in. Clem has just been rallying across the map for 5 minutes straight. Notice how there has not been a backstab in a while. The 4th is established, the 5th is established. Nothing, even just a handful of Zerglings. A lot of players, they stop doing Zergling run-bys versus Clem because they feel it doesn't do damage. He just runs his SCVs. The thing is, it's cheap. It costs you nothing to run a few Lings in a mineral line, force him to pull SCVs, force him to micro units. It costs you nothing, whereas it forces his attention away. And attention is the resource that you need to stretch thin. Because if Clem's able to micro these units, he hammers you. Finally, some Banelings actually connect with his Marines. A nice victory for Reynor, but he loses his new 5th hatchery in the south side. He's got 28 drones mining from one base, and that's never a good sign. Oh, the Banelings do blow up those first few Widow Mines. So many Widow Mines, though. It's like every time he gets past the front Widow Mines, and there's 5 more behind it. Despite that, he pushes back the army on the south and the north. Hydras in the north side get a medevac as well. Finally, some victories for Reynor. He starts a hive. His Lurkaden's on the way. He's retaking the 5th base in the north. He's got some forward creep tumors, but they're not able to spread. He's got a few tumors in the middle and in the south, but his queens need to get to this top side and start respreading creep there for him to have a chance of recovering. 3-3 upgrades are on the way. The Marauders cascading out. 8 barracks production for Clem. He's got the 2 factories pumping bio mine. And he's got just a small marine drop in the north and a giant army on the south. Reynor will see this army as these creep tumors finish up. And that army's going to work this choke point, one of the scariest areas on Tropical Sacrifice if you don't take those down. Banelings do roll in, get some good hits, but Reynor's so far down on supply. He's making lurkers. He's trying to get some units that can hold on. Watch out for the Marine drop in the north, though. Marine drop comes in. Lingbane Hydra will defend, but that's way more units than he needs to defend that angle. The Hydras do come forward. They've now got Groove Spines, but of course the Marauders have 3 armor, which means the Hydras are only doing 9 damage a shot to them. Nowhere near what you'd want. The Marine Marauder holding firm in the choke point like the beasts they are. The Lurkers are all up in the north side of the map. Lings try to pull some Widow Mines in. Great friendly fire. Reynor's not going out that easily. I thought he was about to crumble. I thought we were going to see a game 7, but Reynor just took a very good little fight. He's still at the 5th alive in the top. He's got some Lurkers. Yes, they don't have upgrades, but he's got a good army. He's thinking about counterattacking as well. And you know what? That's a really good move, because if he can deny this base, if he shoves in there, Clem's not ready for it. Clem's so split up on the backstab right now. He actually did not have enough units here to defend, but Reynor second guesses himself. He's not sure how much terrain there is. There's sensor tower vision. He doesn't want to walk into that. And oh man, the bio in the bottom as well. He's going to pick up, pull that one back. In the north side, Lurkers are getting jumped on. Nice moves by Clem. Oh, Widow Mine does hit the Lurker, but Lurker Spine Spore will defend for now. Lurker, Baneling, Hydra coming down the bottom side. He needs more Overseers, and he is morphing them. He's got an Overseer there. Where are his other Overseers? He's got one in the north, one in the south. Reynor doing a very good job of keeping up some detection in those scenarios. A few Marines and Widow Mines setting up an absolute nightmare for Zerg in the north. And he clears all the creep in the middle. Clem dominating this map. The Widow Mines there could still get big hits, but Only getting a couple of Zerglings. Good hold. Killed the hatchery in the south, though. Nice move by Clem. He kills the hatchery. Lurkers do have range, but they don't have the Talons upgrade, the movement speed and burrow speed upgrade. Nice snipe there. Does take out one of the retreating Lurkers. Big Lingbane Hydra army in the south. No Vipers on this map yet either, remember. Looks like a Lurker tried to run by and siege up on the rally point. Some Banelings do roll into the bio on the north side as well. Units lost tab in this game is 4,000 resources in the favor of Clem, so nowhere near the efficiency of some of the other ones, but Reynor's economy has been hit hard. Clem has been up in his business, really ruining the Zerg economy. Let's see if Reynor can strike back. This is a dangerous move because there are ghosts coming forward, and he realizes, I can't do it. I got to pull back. This base up here is now a planetary as well. The Zerglings there. Nice hold position, Micro, to spread that one out. He can at least kill this building command center. Even that is something that slows down the follow-up there for Clem. Widowmine friendly fires the Widowmines. The ghosts, sorry. The Lings coming in from the south. Wrap around on a bunch of the ghosts. Good hot pickups. Lings are deactivating some of those Widow Mines, but unable to get in and capitalize afterwards. The Lurkers are going to siege the planetary. Reynor's going to go for a giant stab. He says, screw it, I've been on the defense for too long. Dives up the natural rep. He decides to back out of it, though. Should he have kept going? I don't know. The ghosts come forward. A few of them do get sniped. Those Lurkers, that is. There's not that many Lurkers left. Reynor might need to back out of this situation. He's trying to reinforce. Lurkers sieging the bottom. Lurkers sieging the top. This distraction up the middle, it could pay dividends if he could get these command centers, but the mass repair is good, and the snipes come forward on the north. He's going to clean up that north side, is Clem, but there's a new one down the bottom. If he could shift-click the SCVs, Reynor could do massive damage, but he hasn't targeted them. He's so busy. These Widow Mines are still here in the middle of the map. What in the heck? All he needs is a scan. It's all Clem needs down here to clean up these Lurkers. He cleans that one up, but he's used so many scans to defend in so many places. This Lurker harass was very nice for Reynor, but it was a desperate effort, and he's lost so many resources in the midst of it. Remember, they were only a few thousand resources apart. This was a costly endeavor. Now, 9,000 resources behind in the units lost tab, unable to remax, and on, of course, an economy that is battered, bruised, and looking more than a little worse for wear. Scan finally cleans up that Lurker. Reynor, he's got Clem out of scans, but he doesn't have a follow-up. If he was still hitting him with Lurkers right now, this would be game over. Because there is actually no detection, guys. He has 3 orbitals and no detection. So if he actually kept hitting him with Lurkers, Reynor could have won this game. And that's got to hurt to see in the post-game. But I've seen Cyril and Reynor both beat Clem with that in the past. If you spread Lurkers across enough locations, remember this Lurker down here was hitting that command center for like 4 minutes straight. It was literally, and he just did not have the scans. But now, because Reynor let up the aggression, he's gone back to Hydraling Bane, he's added some Lurkers. We see that the scans have gathered up, the energy is there as well. And Reynor, he's reestablished the very top and the very bottom base. He's back on 84 worker economy, equal economy. But we've got mass orbital on the way for Clem. Great Lurker volley. Hits all of those ghosts. Gonna come back in though. Nice EMP on the Viper. A couple Lurkers in the north. They're gonna do some damage, taking out a few Marines, but definitely a cost-efficient trade there for Clem. Big army's gonna hit that south side. I think attacking Clem, getting him on the defense, really shows some weakness and some opportunities. So if Reynor can bust that bottom base while defending in the north, he could do well. But is this Reynor's entire army? I think this is Reynor's entire army. Oof. He'll take out the Liberator. The Banelings can obviously roll in and take out those SCVs trying to repair. And the planetary will fall. Meanwhile, Ling's trying to run in the north side, seeing what they can do. But the Ghost coming forward. Oh, he sniped all the Overseers! Clem snipes the Overseers, marches forward with Cloaked Ghost. Meanwhile, the Lings cannot find anything. They get in and kill a couple of SCVs maybe, but that's all. So no big damage there. Oh, they do get ignored for a second. But eventually the Marines will take care of those. Remember, there was no +3 carapace, no range upgrades. Reynor has been on a very strict budget for a long time, and he only just got Adaptive Talons as well, so he was so slow on that secondary Lurker upgrade. Clem snipes a base in the north. He says, oh no, I lost 15 workers. Oh wait, I don't care, because now I've got 4 orbitals, 3 command centers, 2 morphing into orbitals right now. He has got so much money, so much mining available, and he's still got the bigger army, and he's dictating the pace of the game in the middle of the map. The Lurkers in the south side getting picked off as well. Clem's got scans for days. Oh man, if Reynor actually just kept sieging him with Lurker multi-prong, he could have beaten him. There was a window for it, but that window has passed, and now Reynor needs to find a bit more efficiency. But look at this, Widow Mine's causing such a problem for him as he tries to advance. Oh man, the Widow Mine ghost is nasty, because anytime you pull back, those ghosts will get big snipes off. But if you don't pull back, then of course the Widow Mines just do massive damage on the big clump of units. Lurkers in the south side get gunned down. Lurkers in the north trying to do what they can. You can see he's actually burrowed them very effectively. In the bottom, he tries to jump on top of the army. The Ling Bane runs forwards, but his Vipers have been all EMP'd. No abducts on those Liberators, which means no way to deal with them. The Lurker in the top side is getting sieged by a Liberator. Lurker in the bottom, not dealt with at all, but it's accidentally on hold fire! A misclick there for Reynor, so that Lurker's not doing anything. Big mistake for him, and a big issue. Otherwise, that could be causing a lot of stress for Clem. Clem marches forward. He's sniping all the Vipers. There's no detection. The Overseer a little bit too late to the party. And Reynor just a bit too broke. Clem fighting back. Remember, he was on 0-3 in this series, and he is looking poised to force a 7th game. He started out this series down 0-1, a situation against a player like Reynor, a god of Zerg vs. Terran that many would consider insurmountable. He then lost the first 2 games. It was dominating start for Reynor as well, but Clem is fighting back with a bloody vengeance. And even with that lovely little Ling backstab early game, some of the nice adjustments Reynor's been making, Clem is so fast, he's so powerful, and he's all over him. The Widow Mine's all over the map, defending very well. This Lurker's still on hold fire. He even moved it further into the base, but he didn't realize yet. He's trying to fight on the front, but Clem, mass liberated ghost, a deadly, deadly army. And he is just pushing on forwards and destroying right now. That is so, so nasty. Reynor has to tap out there. Ooh, missed opportunity for Reynor at about 14, 15 minutes, I think it was, right, when that big Lurker attack went in. Let's go back and look at that really quickly here before going into Game 7. So when he went to this attack, there was only 1, 2, 3 orbitals, right? He had a new command center finishing, but he didn't have any other orbitals. He had like 1, 2, 3 planetaries. And because of that, he has like 1 scan pops up right now. So if Reynor didn't run away from here, he wins this game. If Reynor actually shoved a Lurker up this ramp and a Lurker into this base and a Lurker into that base, which he kind of shoves into some of them, while also sieging this, and especially if he got one of these Lurkers behind the mineral line to shift click the SCVs there. Like if he got one of those Lurkers, moved it up here, burrowed it on that side, there's nothing Clem could do. So this is something which it's a long shot because you never know. As Reynor, like look at his vision, he doesn't know how much energy there is. These could be maxed on energy, he has no idea. But with the activity rate of Clem, this is something where there was a period maybe 6-9 months ago where this was regularly his downfall. He'd be winning the game, winning the game, winning the game. And then Cyril or Reynor would basically make Lurkers siege 5 bases at once. And Clem would be like, oh, I only have 2 scans. And he'd just lose the game right there. Because the Lurkers just keep... And anytime you scan and kill these, bring more Lurkers in, siege them up again. Bring more Lurkers in here, siege them up again. You just keep doing it, and he's screwed. Because the Lurkers just start getting way too much damage done. So there was an opportunity here for Reynor. He almost found the mark. And, I mean, even if we just watch there, look at how long it took him to actually clean these up. He had to build turrets in range of these Lurkers in order to push them back. Watching on 4 times speed here. That's actually crazy to think about. Bad luck to Reynor there, but bloody well played by Clem. We're getting a Game 7. This is sick. Alright, what the bloody heck. We're in Game 7. It's Waterfall. It's a small map, but it's a map where Zerg has been quite successful against Terran. So it's a pretty good map to decide this series on. Clem in the top right. And I feel like it's not a bad map for the Widowmine parade style, but the thing is, there is a lot of wide open areas. There's not many site blockers or anything. I don't know if there's any site blockers on this map, actually. Yeah, lots of wide open areas. Even the bridges are relatively wide and such big fields. So it's definitely an area where Zerg can swarm in and get great fights. Roach attacks can hit like a brick. They can just flow across the map and kill you. Not that Reynor is ever going to do that. But I think, like, yeah, I mean, you think of, like, Ragnarok's roach pressure openings. Surely one of those could actually get a massive lead versus Clem. Since he does open 3cc so often, even when he goes Banshees, it's always that opportunity. And that last game, Reynor shut down the Banshees and didn't really lose many drones to the Hellions. So it was a pretty good start for him, but despite that, Clem just got control and started just smashing endless Widow Mines in. And you got to remember, Widow Mines build really quickly. I think a lot of Terrans They focus on never missing a beat on their SCVs and their marine production, their medevacs, and it's like they queue up Widow Mines at the very end of the cycle or something, where you see them queue up like 2 Widow Mines every 40 seconds or something. And if you've got 2 factories, one with a reactor, you can actually build 3 Widow Mines in 21 seconds. So you can build 6 Widow Mines in just over a minute. If you're pumping Widow Mines like that 4 or 5 minutes straight, 20, 30, 40 mines, it's very easy to just get an insane number of them going. Got the Reaper coming on in. Ooh. Reaper will pull back. According to Lambo, people don't roach pressure Clem anymore, and he gets away with 3cc every game because his micro is so good that people find even when it's the optimal position, his micro is so good with his SCV pulls, his marines on his ramp, that he just guns down a lot of the roach pressures, gets his Banshee out, and is then fine. I still think if he doesn't go Banshee, he'll be screwed, but if he's going Banshee pretty much every game, which he has been, I can understand why you wouldn't want to risk it, because that's far from the optimal situation. Third base at the front for Reynor. So he wants to get his creep forward from there. Do you guys think he takes this 4th? I can't imagine. I mean, this 4th is so much easier to defend, but maybe he does the I'm going to just shove creep down the left side of the map. The problem is if you do ever lose control of this area, you're giving up everything, basically. You're going to lose all your economy. Link speed, putting back on gas here with his first lava inject. Very standard, very clean opening. No pickoffs this game, not even a single Zergling. Hellions are pumping out. Starport swaps on the tech lab. Alright, Clem not able to find too much. Another creep tumor very exposed at the front. He doesn't want to take damage on the Hellions. Losing a bit of hit points on the Reaper is not too bad. Ooh, good run by, but the Zerglings were very well set up. He'd like to get that Reaper. That's why his Zerglings go back in, kill the Reaper, and then they pull back. 2 Zerglings for a Reaper is a great trade there for Reynor. Remember that Reynor is explosive in the early game. He's an absolute beast. That's not blocking that hatchery, is it? That might just barely be blocking that hatchery, guys. I don't think it is, but it might be. If it is, that's going to be a big bummer. Delaying that hatchery by even 10-20 seconds could be big. Third command center is on the way there. Second and third barracks will go down momentarily. First Banshee's coming forwards across the map. Reynor's got a rather conservative Overlord pattern this game. He's going for the Baneling Nest now. A little bit of a later Baneling Nest than normal. And his lair's super fast. Is Reynor going Mutas? He would need to take a bunch more gases pretty soon if he wants to go Mutas. Might just be that he made his lair a little bit earlier than he normally does. Still going 9 queens. Banshee coming in on that right side. No attempt for a 4th base just yet. That's just rallying to his 3rd. It is past 5 minutes. It's getting to that time where you do want to be establishing a 4th base. Lair is finished. He's going to try and respread creep on the right side. The Hellions could do good. 11 Zerglings are out with 8 more on the way. Reynor's got to be careful. He's got queens on the flanks. But he hasn't respread creep there. Overseers are morphing. 2 of them right now. This is 8 Hellions and 2 Banshees. This is no small investment for Clem. It is actually a very scary force if they can find the correct angle. 9 queens are out, 10 on the map. Here we go. Lings and queens coming on forwards. Getting some damage done on the Banshees is always nice. Only losing a little bit of creep spread, and this guy can immediately spread forward from here as well. This is a great position for Reynor. Look at that. That tumor can just spread right down. Or he can just poop some new ones out. You guys, I'm not just being gross, guys. If you look at the graphic, it definitely comes out from under their tail parts. That's where the tumor is dropped from. Oh, watch out, watch out. Okay, big Hellion run by. But he's going to take some damage on the way out there. The Evo chamber, the Ling spread. Clem says, oh, no, I don't want none of that. Backs off. And Reynor is going for the left side base, which means this area, tanks up there. And this is an obvious push path, right, for Clem. But Clem's going Widow Mines. So he's just going to parade. If he was going tanks, though, wouldn't tanks there just be deadly? I feel like this is a really weird 4th base that Reynor's taking. Second Spore, not a bad idea, zoning this out. And those Banshees getting super duper low, man. They're going to come in and look for more damage. The Lings, there's 27 Lings, and those Hellions, of course, if they try to dive in, they will get hammered. Clem trying to dart in is super dangerous. It feels like he's trying to bait Reynor into a mistake. Reynor does take a big volley for just 1 Hellion, so maybe it worked. There is a Banshee in the back. I'd love to see Reynor deal with it, but he doesn't actually see it right now. It's out of vision, so it may survive for the moment. 77 drones to 65. Either way, this has got to be a Reynor opening victory. Even though he's behind and the unit's lost, unit number. It's like, hey, the resources lost is fine for him. He's got Baneling speed finishing. He's got Queens, Lings, Banes coming forward. He's got great creep spread out here. He should just fight this. He's got the better army right now, does Reynor. So he can fight that, and he should just instantly replace his creep. Right now, Reynor needs to control the map. So he's being way overly cautious by not getting out there and shutting this down. He's letting Clem set up on the front. He is going to set up with his own Ling backstab, though, which could be massive, especially if he morphs Banelings with it. Let's see what he does. He's going to try to just dart on into the base. Clem gets the wall up. Oh, the Hellions as well, plus the Marines running to the left side. That means these Lings ain't going to find much at all. These Lings, oof, he's not going to find much. Yeah, Hellions split up to defend. Clem is on point right now. Widowmine's trying to burrow here. Looks like a few of the Ling Bane have already gone down. Reynor playing a little bit too scared after the last few games. He's now going into the Hydra and he's building 7 more workers. He's going to above 90 workers against a Clem who's sitting on just 67. Has Reynor been a little bit too greedy? Perhaps. You know, ooh. When Dark plays against Clem, he often plays on a lower worker count, sitting on, say, 70 or 75. But always having extra units so he can have 20 Banelings to run in with Zerglings while having enough to engage the front. Reynor's trying to play a greedier style, but that opens up the opportunity for Clem to get very efficient fights. That was actually some good detonations on those Banelings. He does get a few SCVs as well, not too bad. Big Widowmine Elbat army on the right side. A few of the Widowmines do get shots off just as they go down. One Queen's gonna fall. Ooh! He dives Marines in the left side as well. Clem going for a fancy maneuver. But he does get pushed back. Meanwhile, rotating down the right side, 5th base is in threat right now. It's in a bit of peril. The Queens are going to need to gather up. I guess they're going down here to this right side, along with a Hydra Ling Bane. A bunch of Banelings are defending in the top left at the same time. Plus 2 Carapaces on the way for Reynor. But Clem, he is dictating the pace of the game. I think you've got to keep these Ling backstabs, these Baneling backstabs going. The Sensor Tower really does a lot to make him not want to do that, though. It disincentivizes him from going for backstabs because he feels like Clem's going to have too much warning. And that is, of course, where the Sensor Tower and Waterfall is oppressive. It just really makes the Zerg feel paranoid. It feels like they're going to be losing out on any backstab because it's spotted miles ahead of time. Widowmines get cleaned up, though. Overseer Hydra Bane doing what they're best at. Muscular Augments does pretty well here. A few SCVs getting denied on this base. Good moves by Reynor. Meanwhile, on the top left, though, Marine Drop runs in there for Clem. And he's going to go past. Clem going for a little divey dive. Oh, he does the old turnaround redrop. The Banshee accidentally, randomly comes back in with a bit of an F2 as well. Spores are guarding the main base, but that Marine Drop is going to dance around a little bit and be as irritating as it can. Some Lings do run in. It feels like Clem has lost a few SCVs, but Reynor, he's trickling Overlords and Zerglings in. Things are getting chaotic. 2 Marines run into the main. They do get cleaned up. And right now it's 87 workers, 89, sorry, for the Zerg, to 77 for the Terran. 4 base versus 5 base. The creep keeps trying to bounce back up, but Clem is always on top of him. Reynor is so quick at bouncing back up into getting map control. Reynor's not giving him that opportunity. Clem isn't giving him that opportunity. Reynor's got the Infestation Pit, though, so he is going to tech up. I mean, it's not quick, but he's actually got the tech coming, which is absolutely a big advantage on what's been happening in a lot of these previous games. These Queens coming in, and they will take out the medevac, but they aren't really focusing down the Marines. Marines going after the drones. Widowmine drop comes in. We're going to see some decent boomies. 7 kills there. Could get another big one on that guy as well. Looks like the drop on the left side did get cleaned up. Widowmine not defused just yet. Hydraling Bane does chase those units off, but sneaky Widowmine looks like isn't going to do too well. That guy only gets 2 kills. Reynor with some fantastic defense. Clem is not finding the value he found in the previous games. Is Reynor being very defensive? Yes. But he's a god at it. On the other hand, there is Widowmines everywhere. This map is turning into a field filled with rakes. Anywhere the Zerg steps, a big friggin' wooden haft just whacks up and smacks him in the face and bludgeons him. They're everywhere. He needs lurkers. He needs some higher tech. I also wouldn't mind seeing an Infestor Broodlord swap if he can stabilize in the late game. I really feel that's something no one's done against Clem in a long time. And I'm sure they have a reason why, but I do think he's been untested in that regard in quite some time. Ling Bane Hydra coming in from every single side, and that's a good route there. Just pushing Clem home. Clem loses a bunch of Widowmines. He's still got 9 on the map, and look at the production tab. It's pretty much non-stop. 3 Widowmines, 3 Widowmines, 3 Widowmines, 3 Widowmines. Clem does that better than anybody. Reynor finally counter-striking. Get rid of that Sensor Tower. I know the SCVs are juicy, but you kill that Sensor Tower right now, Reynor. That thing is annoying, man. Lings rallying in as well as mass transfuse Queens doing anything they can to survive on the left side. You don't want to lose all these Queens. They are gunning down the medevacs and turning that into a pretty good fight. You know what? I think Reynор's got the momentum. He's got control. He evicts the workers from the third, tears down the wall, tears down the sensor tower, and now he's in the Big Daddy seat. Hive is almost finished. 3-3 upgrades are pretty far ahead for Clem. He's got a double drop still moving down the right side, an army moving down the left, but he's dead even in army supply. And other than that, he is behind. Now, there's only +1 melee, so that is something hurting Reynor that he hasn't realized. Oh! Banelings! Big Boomies cleared Reynor's mineral lines in the last 2 games in a devastating manner. But now it's Reynor's turn to answer him. Reynor does need a 6th base. He's got 30 workers on 1 mineral line here. He looks like he will clean up that left side army, but on the right, he doesn't have any Banelings there. Does just barely have enough units to defend the Hydraling Bane. Chasing Clem back towards his rally point. You don't want to chase too far there as Reynor. Reynor's going back into that third one more time, but there's no SCVs left to kill. He already killed them. Drop is there on the right side. Let's take a look at Reynor's control groups. He's got an army on the right, 25 units, about 8 Banelings, 6 Hydras, the rest is Zerglings, and look at that, he gets on top. He's going for the big surprise hit on the medevac, but Clem too quick, gets the medevacs out, even though some of the Marines do get caught on the ground. There's more units rallying in here for Clem. Oh no, Reynor chasing too far on the right side. You never want your Hydras fighting on their own. They're fragile, expensive units. Losing those is devastating. Same way losing Ravagers is something you never want to lose out of a Roach-based army. You always want to keep those alive and recycle them. Hatchery gets cancelled one more time, and Reynor needs another base, but there's just no room to breathe on this map. And even though he's winning this game, it feels like he should be running away with it, but the fact that this base just got denied yet again has got to be an absolute thorn in his side. Look, he's got to go back to just to clear up the Widow Mine so we can take the base. How annoying is that? And the Widow Mine production has not stopped. Still Mass Marine, Marauder, Widow Mine, Lings, Banes, Hydras trying to defend down here in the Chasm of Death, the corridor of D-Town. As Clem does call it, the Lingbane Hydra coming on in. The Widow Mine only gets a single Zergling. Once again evicted from his third base. These are lovely maneuvers by Reynor. Reynor's got the Hive up. He's going for Vipers. And he's taking out even the depots, the assimilators, the refineries, all of this stuff. As long as he can defend on this left side, he should be good. And he's going to continue on in. Okay, definitely not the play there. He pulls back for now. Clem's going to try and chase him down. Chasing into Lingbane, of course, dicey at the best of times. But look at this, Reynor shoves the left side at the same time. Clem microing on 2 fronts in such a bad position. Clem is so screwed, and yet he was microing 2 different armies at the same time away from the Lingbane, somehow avoiding disaster. When you have the Zerg this much up in your face, it is impossible to avoid getting hammered, yet somehow Clem is surviving. He's avoiding the Banelings. He keeps spreading, and he keeps finding decent engagements. And in the midst of this, look at that. Cancels that hatchery on the left side, and he somehow is sneaking an army down the right side of the map. The Lings deactivate almost all of the Widow Mines, but one of them does get a decent shot off. And look at this. How in the hell did Clem sneak this army by? The Lingbane was going for a little run by there, but somehow Clem just will not give him room to breathe. And Reynor's like, are you serious, bro? It's a map where normally it feels like the Terran is the one losing those spread out bases so frequently, and they just can't get their feet underneath them. But this time around, it's Clem who's using the short rush distance to constantly be in the Zerg's face. That Widow Mine puts paid to rest Reynor's hopes of regaining control of this right side. He doesn't really have enough units to take a good trade, but wait! Clem not watching. Banelings do get a good detonation on the left side. He darts in, but the Banelings get a decent hit there as well. But Reynor is no longer maxed, and the 5th base is established. Somehow, in these last few minutes, Clem has got a 5th base up while denying the 6th base of Reynor. 3 times in a row. His third has had to lift multiple times. He has had to micro and pull back all the way to his natural ramp. And yet somehow Clem is still turning the middle of the map into a minefield. He's built a sensor tower. He's got a cemented position on the left side of the map. He's adding command centers, and he is not letting up. He's going to hit that right side one more time. This left side base is in trouble. Parasitic bombs need to be going out on these medevacs to get a bit of value for Reynor. Oh, the Widow Mine's going to get some juicies. But they get about 30-40 Lings. They also do massive damage to the medevacs, and they are now very weak against Parasitic Bomb. Army on the right side for Reynor gets on in. He needs to get in that mineral line. If he gets some Banes and Lings in that mineral line, he can clear it out. The army pulling back to the natural, getting ransacked. Reynor finds the base. He's going to get it. He gets the command center. That is massive. He does lose 6 more workers on the left side. He loses that mining, the high ground sniping doing very well. There's still new Widow Mines down here on the bottom right side. Reynor, despite doing massive damage, is unable to get his economy going. Clem refuses to step back. We talk about how Clem being on the defensive is his weakness. He's much better when he's on the offensive. Well, even while he's losing bases and dozens upon dozens of workers, you know how he's answering it? He's answering it by just attacking. He says, I'm not even going to defend. I'm going to keep attacking. Both sides have lost close to 50 workers in this game. Another army moving down the right side. He has no banelings, only zerglings. That's a problem. He's got a few lurkers, though, which will help him cement this position. I really feel Reynor needs to give up on this base and just expand to these 2 bases and dominate the right side of the map. He should not be getting lured into these bad engagements on the left side. This is similar to Data C, where I think Reynor is trying to expand everywhere at once and just cover the map, rather than tactically picking where and when to fight. Oh, lurker spines! Clem's whole army on the left side. Yes, it took an amazing fight for about 5-6 seconds, and then Clem was not looking, and the lurkers burrowed, and they did massive damage. These lurkers do not have upgrades. They are 8-range lurkers, guys. Seismic Spines is almost here. Remember, he could... Oh, he ransacks the base on the right side again, but... the lurkers are getting sniped down. He needs to split the lurkers up. Remember, there's almost no scans, but they're all clumped up. So as long as they're all in one spot, he has enough scans to take him out. Clem gets a great kill there, but another orbital. If he chased it, he could maybe have killed it, but the orbital's going to survive. How many scans are we looking at, guys? There are right now 1, 2, 3 orbitals on this map with 1 scan between them. 2 scans. The second one just ticked over. If Reynor just makes lurkers and spreads them across these bases, he wins this game. Remember, he missed that opportunity on Tropical Sacrifice. We realized that. He may not have realized that. He missed a window there, and once again, he's in the same scenario. There's only 1 scan left right now for Clem. Clem's trying to push forwards. He's still pushing when he has literally no scan. And the thing is, Reynor's all sieged in one location. If he just sends lurkers into 3 bases, it is game over. Clem does not have enough detection, but Clem has got him on the back foot, and Clem is keeping him pinned where he wants him. The scans happen to be enough. That last scan comes in. The Libs sieging up. The Lings forced to engage. Not a good fight for them, but a sexy Ling backstab for Reynor. His queens and his lurkers, not to mention Vipers, are going to be able to deal with these Liberators eventually. The Lings get 8, 9, 10 SCVs. The Widow Mines will clean that up. Reynor has to back off with those Lings. Hydras are going to deal with the Lib, but of course the Libs always make that a costly fight there for the Zerg player. Ling's running back in on that right side. Widow Mine says no. Good spready at the last second there from Reynor. Now, Reynor's only got +1 melee. Reynor's only got +1 melee against +3 armor, SCVs, and Marines. Oh no, this is a disaster. The upgrades being forgotten in this game. I think it's okay to not have range upgrades. Lurkers do a ton of damage even without them. But those Zerglings rely on those upgrades. He abducts a Ghost, but he loses the energy on both Vipers. One of them even gets sniped. And now Clem's got him pinned on the back foot. Reynor needs to start backstabbing with Lurkers, not Zerglings. And he needs to stay Hydra Lurker focused. As weird as that sounds right now, the Lings aren't really going to cut it. Banelings will do all right, but he cannot let Clem take this base. Clem, 23 SCVs on this base, but look how little damage that SCV does. A +3 melee Adrenal Zergling would ruin Clem's economy in this scenario, but Reynor right now doesn't have the upgrades. Another Widow Mine fires these Widow Mines all over the map. The Marine Ghost comes forward. No Banelings, no Lurkers. The Snipes take out the Overseers. They take out so much. The Lurkers come forward and they could do some big damage. Mass Repair tries to come in, but he's very clumped up. He's got to get out of there before the Snipes land. He tries to burrow, but look at that. Bam, one Lurker just sniped instantly. A few of the SCVs will go down. Here we go. The Marine Ghost coming forward. Clem's going to get on top of the last pack of Lurkers, and Reynor is out of cash. Oh my god, how did Clem survive in this game for this long? He was in so much trouble. Vipers abducting Ghost, Queen's trying to hold the line. I mean, the melee upgrades did hurt Reynor, but even despite, he could have broken him if he spread the Lurkers out. Clem did not have enough money. He's trying desperately. I mean, Clem is back on 5 orbitals now. He's got enough scans to survive this whole period. But Clem, oh my god, the ability to just keep denying this base in the bottom right. That's like the 4th time he's killed it this game. This base that Reynor went for was a huge tactical and strategic error. He should not be expanding to this base. Of course, now it's just a sign of desperation. But going for that earlier in this game was a big mistake because it presented Clem with such an easy trade on that left side of the map. And because that distracted Reynor so much, that's why he kept losing the bottom right, which was the much more important and feasible expansion location. Reynor's still taking some good little surrounds here with his Zerglings, but as we've said, those +1 melee Zerglings nowhere near the damage output one would hope for. The Widow Mine Planetary cleaning them all up. That command center Should just be lifting off there, but Clem, nope, he's watching. He's got it. Widowmine does do damage to that Lurker. Reynor's still fighting hard. He will not give up. This is the EU Atlanta Regional Grand Finals. There's a ton of money on the line. And of course, it is a huge, huge tournament. Considered a premier event. Abduct's trying to go down on the Ghosts, but the Lurker's just getting attacked from both sides. Blinding Cloud is not enough to staunch the flow. And Clem, what an absolute monster. With a reversal from down 0 through. The 0 through. From down 0-3, brings it back 4-3. That is just an immense comeback. That is such a hard thing to do. And he just did it with really solid macro play, strong tempo play, absolute beast mode. GG, well played, Clem.